In this video, I am talking about whether or not Luke Skywalker will train Rey as a Jedi in The Last Jedi. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Guys, this video came to me when I was thinking about The Last Jedi. I'm thinking about what Luke Skywalker said. And of course, I'm always thinking about all of the little things that Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley, and everybody involved with the Star Wars cast has been saying in interviews and everything like that. So I basically came upon a theory based upon some things that were said at Celebration, mostly from Mark Hamill, and I'm going to go into that and explain that I actually do not think Luke Skywalker will train Rey as a Jedi. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something that Hamill said. He was asked about the trailer itself, and he made a remark about how that he went in and recorded some audio specifically for the trailer that he did not record for the movie. Now, a lot of people took this and they ran with it, suggesting that maybe the line at the very end of that trailer when he says that I only know one truth, that it's time for the Jedi to end, that was something that he did specifically for the trailer. But I actually really have a hard time believing that. I don't think that Lucasfilm, Rian Johnson, Disney, any of these entities or people would really lie to us that much when they are trying to sell us on a movie. I really don't believe that they would do that. I actually believe that the lines that that Hamill recorded for the trailer were the lines of breathe, just breathe, now reach out, what do you see? And if that is the case, that would suggest that lines like that are not in the movie whatsoever. Now, there's another piece of information that Hamill let out in an interview that actually kind of supports my theory when it comes to this. He said in an interview that when he read the script for The Last Jedi, that he went to Rian Johnson and said, I fundamentally disagree with everything that you have done with my character. Now, first of all, that's a crazy statement. And Hamill goes on to explain that it was probably a good thing and that he actually really likes the film and what they did with the character. But initially, he completely disagreed with everything Rian Johnson had done with the Luke Skywalker character. And honestly, the vibe that I get from the trailer and a lot of the stuff that I've picked up on just from, makingstarwars.net, little pieces of nuggets here and there, is that Luke wants nothing to do with Rey. I don't think he wants to train her at all. I think he's grumpy old man Yoda, like in Empire, right? When he says, I cannot train him, he has no patience, and he's like being kind of a douche in the cave, and Luke's like, oh, I'm ready, tell him I'm ready, Ben, and then he hits his head or whatever. I think that is where Luke Skywalker is at. I think he's completely done with the Jedi. He wants nothing to do with Rey, and I actually believe that she is going to do something very common in kung fu movies and very common in samurai films, and it was even in Doctor Strange. And I think that what I'm saying here is Luke is going to say, I am not going to train you, and then Rey is going to literally stay there on Ahch-To and just wait and just hope that Luke changes his mind. This is a theme that occurs in a lot of, like I said, these Asian films, the Kung Fu films. The master does not want to train the student, and in order to prove to the master that the student is ready, the student is just going to endure, just going to stay there until the master decides that he's ready. Now, there were a lot of other things that were said about Ahch-To itself. I remember reading an article, I think it was on Making Star Wars, and they said that the planet itself does not want Rey there. That it's okay with Luke being there, but it actually does not want Rey there. And this, I believe I've talked about this in other videos, this really makes me think of the Bendu, right? When Kanan in Star Wars Rebels first rolls up to the Bendu says, your presence here is like a violent storm. And the Bendu and the planet is all about balance, right down the middle, balance. If you're too far to the light or to the dark, you're basically disrupting what is going on the planet. And I think what is going to happen, because we have heard the rumor that she fights that sea creature and that the planet essentially rebels against her and this is her trial or what have you. I think that she is staying there on the planet and Luke has nothing to do with her, doesn't even like come see her or whatever, just goes about his business on the planet. And I think Rey is going to stay there, and the planet is going to slowly rebel against her. I think that shot when she's looking out on the ocean is ominous, and that's her realizing it. I think that the birds that we've heard about, that they're going to be kind of attacking her. There's that shot that wasn't in the trailer, but it was one of the stills that was shown where she's outside the Falcon holding her hand out as the rain comes in. And I think what's going to happen here is that the planet itself turns against her because it knows that she is super light side and that she wants to bring this fight. I honestly believe that the First Order and the Knights of Ren are going to show up on Ahch-To. Rey and Luke will confront them, but she has no training at this point. And I think that confrontation will be the birth of Luke accepting Rey. I think he'll be impressed by what she is able to accomplish and hold her own against Kylo. Or maybe she gets messed up and Luke feels bad for her, and then they go on this journey. I think that the catalyst for them both leaving Ahch-To and Luke actually coming back into the fold is going to be when the First Order and Kylo track them down on Ahch-To. And I honestly don't know. My vibe on it is this. I don't think Luke is going to train her as a Jedi. He might give her some tips. He might show her some things about how to work in the Force. I mean, who knows? For all we know, she was mind wiped and she already has Force training. That's a popular theory that's out there. But I actually do not think that he is going to train her as a Jedi. Now, this kind of takes us into a different discussion, which I might save majorly for another video. But it is possible that he could train her as a Force user and not train her as a Jedi, not train her to let go of things, not train her to not have attachments, not train her to not have a lover, not train her in the same way that the Jedi of Yoda's era were trained, and yet still teach her certain things about the Force. That is what I think is going to happen here. And I think that Rey might be the first in a new kind of Jedi, which Snoke kind of even implies. He kind of even implies this when he's talking to Kylo Ren and General Hux about Skywalker coming back. If Skywalker returns, the new Jedi will rise. And I think that that's what we're going to get here. Now, there's been people in my comment section saying, well, do you think she's going to be a Guardian of the Whills? It's totally possible. That is pretty cool. They might just call her the new Jedi or the Gray Jedi, or they might introduce something like that. But that we will talk about later. For the sake of this video, my basic conclusion is this. I don't think that Luke is training Rey as a Jedi. I don't think he's really training her much at all. We have this idea that Luke and Rey are going to be hanging out on Ahch-To. I mean, look at that shot in the trailer. She is using the lightsaber and doing her moves, and Luke is up on the hill just watching. He's not actively engaged in that. And there's those rumors, right, that Yoda is on that pillar helping her. Well, what if like Yoda and the other Force ghosts, they want to train her as a Jedi, but Luke wants nothing to do with it? That could be kind of cool and very, very interesting. But basically, guys, because of these little pieces of nuggets that I've pulled and picked on, I really don't believe that Luke is going to be training her as a Jedi, at least not on Ahch-To. Maybe by the end of the film, he shows her a few things here or there, but I really don't think he is going to be teaching her or training her how to be a Jedi, and definitely not going to be doing so on Ahch-To. What do you think of this theory? Do you think I'm totally off my rocker? Do you think he's obviously going to train her? Do you think he's going to allow her to pass on what she has learned and continue the Jedi Order? Or do you think that the Jedi Order dies with Luke, that he is the last Jedi, and he is the last Jedi by choice because he does not want this knowledge passing forward through time, that it has to end? What do you think? We could be talking about this forever. I think we will be talking about this forever, but I wanted to make this video and I wanted to open it up for discussion with you guys. So let me know in the comment section. Really looking forward to digging in on this one, okay? As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!